You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I see days in the house. How is it going, brother? Welcome. Great to have you. Let's jump right into the charts because, well, the Bitcoin trade is playing out as long with a couple of others. Let's go check out how everything is going and let's get it started. We have Alexander G in the house. Welcome. Great to have you. Let's get it. All right, so let's get started with Bitcoin here really quickly. 1 second, something important just popped up for me. Okay, sorry, just last minute note in here. So oh, I see what's going on. All right, got it. Sorry, just security pop up in here and I just gotta get rid of it. So sorry for that. Let's get it. Let's take a look at what's going on. At this moment, what we got right now on Bitcoin is that, well, we were looking for that breakout retest continuation. We were expecting that flip of the ribbon. Actually, we entered just a little bit higher here. We have a secondary chance. Perfect. And then coming back down, I think this is not over, but very important. If you haven't taken any profits, this is a fantastic area to start taking some of it, right? I know it's not that huge of a profit at this moment, but it's important to start taking something out of the table. Another important thing is moving your stop closer to entry, or at least at entry. And I'm gonna be making that adjustment right away. All right, so how's it going, Gary? Welcome. We have T-Top in the house. How is it going, guys? Welcome. So far, so good. I am hoping for this thing to keep going downwards. We are pretty bearish. Again, we ain't got that much of a volatility to start breaking some resistances. And where consolidation score are fairly high, but we are moving, right? We are also below that zero line. And guess what? We are following the pattern that we were expecting. Usually that indicates further move to the downside. Let's dump it. Let's set it to zero, baby. So we'll see if we can't basically push it lower. And that's where we're going to be holding a partial trade open. But so far, so good. So let's go take a look at a couple of other things. We have Sun. We were looking at Sun USDT. If you guys recall this one, we were trading this after what was it? Tuesday? Monday? Not quite remember. Well, we have the breakout right now. We are getting into previous resistances. Let me bring up the rest of my indicators to see how are we doing, especially this one, the bullet profile bar magnifier. All right, we're getting into a big resistance. I think we're going to push a little bit more within the range and then getting at these zones for then a possible rejection. All right, so let's re-add our alert right down there, right up there. And for me, it is here it is 0.0744, and I'm gonna be looking for a downwards movement somewhere around there. In fact, I'm gonna change it and put it just a little bit below here, so I have just enough time to start acting upon it. All right, so let's go to another one here. We had a long position open, if you guys recall this one in here. Something important, I re-enter this position once again on leverage, and we are back basically on my entry point right down there. And at this moment, I'm looking for a flip of the ribbon. Yes, it's moving a little bit lower here. Remember, we need to shield our stop loss right below that dynamic reactor, in between dynamic reactor and quantum reactor. And at this moment, I'm looking for that flip of the ribbon. If you haven't opened a long on gold, I think this is a fantastic zone to enter for a very small long, all right, and control that leverage because we don't have confirmation, but seems like we are going to get that flip of the ribbon in between 8 hours. So fairly good. Hey, Weeks, how are you? Hey, Weeks, we got Weeks. What's up? Welcome. Who else we got in here? We also have Steve Hickey. How is it going, my friend? Welcome. Great to get you, buddy. So far, so good. Doing fantastic. Let's go. We were talking about FTT. So, and we were, what, the 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking for a possible breakout to short it. It seems to be fairly stable in here. Not much of a move in here. I would not be trusting this oscillator at this moment, and that is because we have a lot of resistance, and well, the volume on FTT is not much. It's not that I'm not trusting the oscillator, it's just that I'm not going to be trading despite it says I'm bullish because of the volume that FTT has, right? So I'd rather wait for an eccentric move, basically something that happens, right, and then take advantage of that. So basically, I'm going to be looking a short. There it is at the top. Same area as before. Somewhere around 0.3631. And a long entry somewhere around 0.32. By the way, remember, this is casino money. FTT is completely dead and it's not coming back. All right? So we're just doing it for fun. Let's take a look at how we're doing on Netflix. And boom shakalaka, let's get it. All right, something important. It's true that we should have had moved faster. We developed a order blocking here, which is blocking the way of the thing going up. All right, so let's try to clean this up a little bit. Here it is. And this, of course, is getting on the way. This is blocking the way. Another important thing is that we are forming kind of like a bearish pennant. Usually those bearish pennant tend to break to the downside, so we need to start moving our stop to entry, or at least setting some limits. All right, very important. Remember what we learned, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. Well, it's not that we learned it, I brought it up once again. It was the reversal setup. Let me see if I can bring it up really quickly. And where is it? It's of course inside chart prime. Additional contents, important class, and class number 1. Perfect. Here it is. So remember that I mentioned that we could be getting, let's see if I could make this. There it is. This is the area that I'm looking for. Perfect. Remember that I was speculating that we could have a breakout retest continuation rate, right? And well, having that reversal, right? So at this moment, I think that we haven't basically complete this, and we are making a flat pause of continuation. So that's a little concerning, all right? And remember, that also repeats on the way down. So basically, this is the pattern that I believe that we're having right now on Netflix. So there we go. We're coming down, reversal, breakout, reversal, retest, and not continuation, but range. All right, we've been trying to break through that zero line. Money flow is not really working with us, although the volume staying steady. And well, we don't have much to pull from here, right? So we need to be careful. I'm still holding this position, especially this last one that I bought, right? I believe that we're going to get a little bit of a range, maybe hitting dynamic reactor as we did in here, and then a continuation downwards. We'll see how that goes with Netflix, but so far we are on profits in Netflix. Let's go and take a look at Aster. Oh man, what a coin. And not what a coin, but what an analysis. Do you guys remember this? I was telling you, I was mentioning, hey, you know what? I believe that we're going to have that little bit of a push up. I think we're going to get somewhere around here. Guess what we got, especially on the 30 minutes? Almost exactly the same pattern that we were hoping for. So boom chakalaka for that. Let's get it. And at this moment, well, that short played out to the dynamic reactor. So what is up right now? I don't think that we're going to make it back again to the upside. All right. What I believe is that we're going to be rolling over. All right. Making maybe a lower high, visiting this support. And remember, we already have another alert at 0.66. All right. And then from there, a bounce up. We have this order block, right, that could be pushing, right? So we have shoulder, head, and shoulder. I might be just looking for a little bit of a push in here before retracing. Let's see if we have anything else other than the order blocks to call for that short. And oh, not really. I mean, let's get rid of this. I mean, we have this order block right up in here. What else we have? Well, the swing R1 right there. Not really a little bit higher or anything like that. Not much. So basically, that means that we're going to be bouncing right from that zone. So why don't we take the short? We're just too close to the support. All right. Nonetheless, when we get to the support, remember, you can try to go for a little long. And if that fails, remember to head switch or wait for your next area of entry. I would actually suggest just waiting for the area of entry, going for the long, and then going for the short. Very important. This movement, I don't really expect it to be that big. More like a little range or more like a hiccup and then fall fairly quick. All right. So I'll be looking at it to do something around those around that timing, right? If that makes sense, or around that side. So that's basically it. Let me see. I'm aiming at 114 on Netflix. Let's get it. Please remind me, what's the indicator you have at the right down corner? This one right there, that is a dashboard. This one here is your dashboard. It's from your Market Oracle Pro. Also, you get it on the Plus. The Plus is a little bit more compact. So you can, let me show you where to turn it on. You just scroll down and you look for dashboard. So dashboard, here is dashboard. I have the optimal tuning. I have volatility, prime score, and prophecy and consolidation score. The optimal tuning, I don't really use it. I don't know why it always auto turn on. But yeah, I mean, I don't really need it because my auto tuning is not auto, it's manual tuning. But yeah, just give you the heads up on that one if you want to have the same configuration. All right, so let's go talk about, I want to go over some metals and some coins that we were looking at, some meme coins. In those meme coins, we have River and Shiba. All right, so we already have it. This actually pushed a little bit higher from what I was expecting. So there it is. We pushed up. All right, breakout, retest, continuation, double top, breakout. All right, retest at this moment, and we're looking for a possible continuation downwards. Very important. At this point, we haven't taken these highs. All right, that's fine. We don't really need to take them. What we definitely need to hold, it's going to be these lows. All right, so as we are losing these lows, we are going to be shorting it. If we maintain or sustain the high and then we take another high, we go for a little retracement, maybe 33%, and we go upwards. But the real possibility for this is to keep going downwards. Remember, bear market, longs are just to position your shorts, all right? Shorts are what is making you money on the bear market. Let's get it. Hey, Mark Dodge in the house. How is it going, brother? Welcome. Welcome. Flip off the ribbon. Let's get it. Love it, bro. Love it. Love it. Thank you. All right. So let's go over and take a look at something else in here really quickly. Let's go over River. We've been tracking River, right? Remember this one right there. Not quite enter. Right here. Ooh, man, that would have been a fantastic continuation. Nonetheless, we have an absorption zone in here. We haven't quite broken the trend line, but I guarantee you that we are going to. All right. So, well, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I guess you understand that I'm figuratively speaking, right? We have a lot of bearish divergence. We have kind of like a pump and dump at the top, so a quick blow off top. What I'm gonna be looking for is breakout, lower high, continuation, shorting here, TP1, TP2, dead cat bounce, and then falling back down. So why am I going so far till the dead cat bounce? And that's because we have seen that played out before. When we start having a lot of volatility, right, we tend to have that dead cat bounce in the chart. So it's not that it's not that we're gonna get it like 100%, but I believe that we have a very high chance to have a couple of opportunities to trade this, including that dead cat bounce. All right, so let's take a look at something else in here. We were looking at Ethereum. Let's go over Ethereum. Breakout, retest, double bottom, and then bouncing. Important. We ain't got no entry so far. Although we are breaking through, we have an early reversal diamond. All right. When is going to be our entry? Of course, that we are bouncing off of here. Our entry was basically right now, but I'm not going to be taking it so far. All right. Why is that? Because of the double bottom. So I'm going to wait for the double bottom to give up or give out or whatever to fail. And then I'm going to go for the next upcoming short. Ethereum, I would say that it might be a front-running Bitcoin at this moment. All right, so I'll keep an eye on Ethereum, and I'm gonna be throwing out here my alerts just in case it goes the other way around at the top, right? And in case when we start breaking through at the bottom. So I need for it to define another direction, and then I'm gonna trade it. But so far we have broken this trend line. We are creating a pivot in here, and the next movement is downwards to the right, downwards. All right, so let's see what else. So for some reason, my streaming's pretty late on my end. I don't know. All right, so let's take a look at something else that we could be having here. Let's see. BNB. Let's go for BNB. All right, so far so good. Doing great on BNB. Let's actually zoom out. I want to take a look at the 4 hours especially. There it is. All right, and we are having a fantastic, holy smokes, stiletto pattern. Look at that coming down. We have the stiletto right there. Look at that. That is fantastic. You know what it is? Let's go and let's tag Alex. Oh, let's actually send them a little bit of his stuff in here. So let's tell him, you know what, Alex, I'm watching a stiletto pattern on what is it, BNB. Absolutely. By the way, guys, if you can tag him on his Discord, go ahead and do it. So let's get it. All right, so in the meantime, we're going to be waiting for the breakout. This is a bullish pattern. We're looking to break out this high. So I'm thinking that we could, we're not gonna be writing it right now. Why? That is because if Bitcoin turns around or Ethereum turns around, this is gonna go with it. But we're absolutely gonna get some alerts. I'm gonna set that alert at 633. There it is, and that's where we're gonna be leaving it at. So let's get it. I'm also gonna be adding another one right down there at the base of the stiletto for maybe double bottom pattern. Ooh, I almost dropped my cell phone. And let's get it. Let's go. Perfect. All right. So far we have a couple of entries. I mean, what is it? Like 5 we already have gone through. Let's do just one more. Let's go over. I want to go, well, 2. Let's do 2 more. I want to go over Pepe, and I want to go over Solana. So let's go take a look at Pepe. Pepe also has kind of like an stiletto pattern in here. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's fantastic, especially that red stiletto, right? So there it is, the stiletto pattern, right? Right there. So Pepe also having an stiletto pattern. We can also go for a trend line in here. This is a pretty neat freaking trend line. I love this. There we go. Let's catch this high, and well, if we actually catch this low and we go something like that, Well, we are breaking through, breakout retest. We should be actually, in this case scenario, we should be actually going for a long position. It's a meme coin. So what would you rather? What would you rather? Long in Pepe or long in BNB? I'm gonna still do the same thing. I'm just gonna wait for a breakout. So I'm gonna go for a alert at whatever, how many zeros there are, 3785, right? And I'm gonna go for another alert right here at however zeros 3505, right? So the point in here is gonna be a breakout retest continuation, right? Double bottom, and if we hold, I'm gonna try to long it right after it bounces up. So I want to see either that or a goose head in here, and that looks more like a snake head, but yeah, like a goose head. But yeah, let's get it. Let's take a look at if that plays out. Prime score low, bearish, and vice versa. Yes, exactly. So something important here there, and you need to know about this. For your prime score to work properly, you absolutely need to have... Oh, I removed that. All right, I brought it back. So you absolutely need to have both your trendy and your dynamic reactor turned on. All right. If you don't have your trendy, well, your trendy, you can do what is it, autopilot. So don't worry about it. But definitely you need to use your dynamic reactor to have the full spectrum. If you don't have your dynamic reactor, your prime score is gonna be capping at 5. All right, just so you know. But yes, what does that happen? Back in the day, I came up with a set of it was a 7-pointer strategy, like back in the day, right? So every indicator has its own rules. So basically we made it into an indicator and it became the prime score. So it's not the 7 counter, but it measures how bullish something is versus how bearish something is. So 0, it's very bearish. 10, it's very bullish, right? But also remember, 10 is the maximum bullish that it can go. So when you see 10, do expect a reversal down, right? And when you do see a 0 or nothing in there, well, do expect a reversal up, all right? So just so you know, so those are 2 little secrets that I got for you in there. Thank you, Mark Dodge. I really appreciate you, brother. Really appreciate you. All right, guys, really quick reminder, click that like button. It really helps with the algorithm, and I will personally be grateful to you. All right, so let's see what else. We were on Pepe, and then I mentioned that I want to take a look at, what was it, either XRP or what do you want? Or Reavers. It was Reavers. All right, Reaver. Now, we already went to Reaver because we missed the entry, right? Didn't we? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was the one. And ooh, look at that. Ooh la la, we are breaking through. All right. So guys, alert, it's been set up. All right. So it's been ringing right now. We're breaking through. If you want to go for a short, be extremely careful because of the rebound. But the analysis, it's in motion at the time, and we are breaking through right now. All right, so let me actually let's do this. All right, where are we stopping? Let's bring up the indicators. I think I missed on that one, and I believe that we're gonna go, yes, slightly lower. There it is, and then up and then down. So happy hunting, guys. Let's go. So it's playing out right now. So remember, we're positioning ourselves on a short for Reaver. All right, let's get it. And with take profit, not max profit. What? And we take profit, max profit. What? I have trendy at 7. You are at 43. Yes. 43 is my main setup on trendy. Tagging by OC by typing. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mac. Absolutely. Tag me by doing at Piper Academy. Let's see. I have trendy at 7, yours at 43. What's the difference? The size of the trend that we're looking at. Let me give you an example. So my trendy, it's configured, or it's been heavily invested to work the best with Bitcoin USDT. All right, so let me give you a couple of examples in here. So really quick, the trendy setting, it's how big of a trend you're looking for. All right, remember, I'm a swing trader. I traded 4 hours, right? And I try to also scalp the inside of the 4 hours. So I'm a 4-hour scalper too, right? If that makes sense. If you want to make fun of me, go ahead and make fun of me on the comments. I'm still not gonna read them. But go ahead. All right, so just kidding. So let me show you how that works. So let me clear this up. So let's man. All right, so let's wait for it. All right, perfect. And what I'm using my trendy on 43 is to give me big AF trends, right? Things that I can pair with my dynamic reactor. Why is that? Let me see if I have a cleaner chart. Oh, dude, remember this one when we were looking for it and then it failed? All right, so it's time for this one to go away so I can start new spaghetti stuff in here. All right, perfect. So there it is. Let's go in and check a look. 43 on trendy, and it's checked 43, which means less signals but bigger and most trustworthy signals. All right, so bigger trends. So usually what I'm looking for is when there we go, the price action breaks to dynamic reactor, I get a sell signal, and then when it breaks above, I get a buy signal, a buy up signal. And then when it breaks below, I have a sell signal. And look at that. It's very, very accurate. Why? Because technically speaking, losing the volume zone, which is your volume dynamic reactor, all right, you're losing the trend. So what I'm using here is volume, which is dynamic reactor, all right, as a trend line. So losing the trend line, losing the trend, and I have a double backup in here. So it's basically like a witness, if that makes sense. Why does that matters? There's going to be a point when we are on denial, all right? Like, for example, when I was also a little bit on denial on this bear market. Remember that when we were on the 4 days, if I'm not mistaken, I think so, right? I still had, well, I was really, really on denial, but let's go for that. So, for example, right here, right? When is the bear market starting? It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. And guess where is the bear market starting, right? So do you have questions about bear market? Go to 4 days, Bitcoin 43. Does that make sense? So remember that when we start breaking through, I mentioned, hey, you know what? We have breakout retest, and then our last chance not to lose it is going to be here. And we lost it. That's it, bear market, right? And this thing give it to me earlier, right? If that makes sense. The same thing works, for example, on the 4 hours, right? Look at that. Are we going to be looking closer to a long or to a short? So this is kind of like a bias, a witness. This is, for example, right now, I could be looking for a long, all right? I could be saying, hey, look at that, V-shaped recovery, previous range, right? Higher, not higher than the previous range. This is definitely a wyckoff, and I could be right, all right, that we get a wyckoff, but I'm not going to be turning bullish until 1, I break dynamic reactor, and 2, I get a buy-up signal at the breakout. And then it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and then we start going up, right? And right here, that's what it happened, right? So wyckoff range, buying up, all right? It went higher, and then sell out. Do not be on denial. You're both below right there, right? So let me just clear up that spaghetti. It's just getting in the way. So that is how I use it on 43, or why is it on 43 for myself. There is another way to configure this, all right? A trend, it's the size that you define. So that's pretty let that sink in, right? So I mean, this could be my trend line or my trend, right? Or this could be right here my trend, right? Or this could be right here my trend. Which is it? You pick your poison, right? Does that make sense? So the trend is the one that you define. It's not that you're saying, yeah, it's bullish trend because I want it to be bullish trend. No, you need to use your tools, right? But the point is, all right, which one are you going to follow? The one that makes you the most amount of money. How do you know that? Which one does your brain sees first, right? That's going to be the answer. And then they are what we call inner trends. So within, let's, for example, go for this other one right here. Within this trendy here that I had right there, right, or right here, I have inner trends. Like, for example, slight trend up, breakout retest continuation, slight or small trend down, breakout retest continuation, right? Trend down, breakout retest continuation, and lost it. All right, so this was an itty bitty tiny bullish trend. So you can either configure it for me, like me, with big AF trends, or you can configure it to have inner trends, right? So the way that you would do that is just mark your trend lines like I did, right? And you're looking to position your trend signals not in here, not in here, and not in here. At the breakout, right there, at the break up, right here, at the break up, right there. When you lose the trend line, you're losing the trend, right? So in that way, you can actually click in here. And in this case, you're not using your volume because the volume gives you the bigger trend, the actual trend on the main time frame that you're trading, right? But don't worry about it. The point is that your brain sees it in detail, right? So what I'm gonna go is just turn off dynamic reactor so it doesn't bother. All right, let's wait for that to play it out. And then I'm gonna change that trendy to something like I believe 25. It's the one that I liked before. Let's wait for that eye to stop moving. There we go. And you see that we have closer, smaller trends, but they are not quite there yet what I wanted. So I can do it. Let's do 7, right? By the way, you might have picked up 7 out of the gang because Alex on Crypto uses 7 on his setup, right? And there you go. You have something more like what we were talking about right there at the breakout, right? But you still have a couple of outliers here, right? Couple of outliers, and we want to get rid of them. How do we get rid of them? Cranking this up little by little. 8. Waiting to see what happens. You'll see that we're going to start removing a couple of those. We'll see. And let's give it some time for this to... There we go. So as you can see, it's going more accurate, right? And maybe 9. And then it's not going to be completely perfect. But that's why you're using your trend line, right? You are going to be using the trend line plus your signal to long or short, right? So your trend line plus your signal to short. Your trend line plus your signal to long. Your trend line plus your signal to short. Your trend line plus your signal to long. Does that make sense? And so on and so forth. So that's how you use your trendy. The trend is giving you the size of the trend that you want to look for. Hey, Buck in the house. How's it going, brother? Doing fantastic, my friend. Welcome, welcome. So basically, if I got a higher time frame, it's better to have higher trend. No, really, they are not similar. It's all right. Let's do it on the we're on the 4 hours. So I am on the 4 hours and I use 43, right? Instead of 9. But that depends on how big of a trend you want to catch. It doesn't matter the time frame. The only thing that matters is like what is what you want to trade. the bigger swing trade or the smaller inner trend, right? But the smaller you go, the more outliers you're gonna have, if that makes sense, because it measures smaller trends. All right. So, for example, if I'm gonna be trading the 3 minutes, I definitely want to go for swing trades on the 3 minutes. Why? Because for me, a swing trade on the 3 minutes is gonna be like a scalp on the 15 minutes, right? So it makes sense for me to actually go for swing trading on the 3 minutes, and that's what I use, 43. Let's wait for it to load. There we go. And that's going to be catching much larger trends. I mean, look at this, baby. Whee, right? And I just rinse and repeat. Trend line, right? Trend line or parabolic trend line, whatever. Breakout, signal, long it. Breakout, signal, short it. Right? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Easy, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? All right, guys. That's been that's been basically everything that I got for you guys. Remember to do not overtrade at these areas. Do expect a sudden drop. All right. When is it gonna happen? We don't know. We need to be careful on the weekends, especially on the weekends. Low volume. All right. But so far, remember to trade with the inner trend, right? So wait for that trend line to be breakout or to have a breakout, and then look for your confirmation and then continuation. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me send you some hearts in here. Click that like button, and I see you guys on the next one.
You heard it here first. Coin is going to zero.
Zero.